And hi again, I'm Katie. As we shared earlier, I am an account manager here at SweetRush. I love working on certifications, so I'm excited to share more. And we're going to jump into looking at Google HR Ops. So picture this. Google is undergoing a massive shift. They have hundreds of employees, each one incredibly talented, but the future of work is changing fast, and they needed to reskill these employees for entirely new roles. So we're not just talking about minor updates to their skills. We're really talking about preparing people to thrive in roles that didn't even exist a few years ago. The challenge was, how do you create a learning experience that not only equips them with those high impact skills, but it also really gives them the confidence to step into the uncertain future with clarity and with purpose. So that's where we came in. We partnered with Google to take on this massive initiative at scale. It wasn't just a project, it was about helping them build the workforce of tomorrow. And if anyone can do that, we knew that it was the thoughtful, creative minds at Google that were up to the task with us. So the first thing we had to figure out was this: where is every single person starting from? Google never does anything cutting cookie cutter. They're way too creative and they are always inspired to push boundaries. So they needed something that was highly personalized, something that made every employee feel like their growth was being invested in. So we helped them create a personalized development career roadmap. It all started with mapping out the critical skills for each role, everything from technical competencies to their leadership abilities, and then figuring out where each person was on that journey. Every employee ended up with their own custom roadmap tailored to their unique needs and career goals. Picture it like this: it wasn't just giving them the skills that they needed, but it was about giving them their own personal GPS for career growth. It showed them the most direct path to success in their new roles. And when it came to the learning experience itself, it was definitely not your typical watch a video, take a quiz type of training. We built a blended learning journey that really pulled people in from start to finish. It kicked off with a dynamic, high energy webinar to set the stage and get everybody excited. From there, we integrated personalized learning assessments that helped each employee figure out exactly where they stood, followed by e-learning modules, social learning opportunities, and interactive activities. It wasn't just about learning new information, it was about immediately being able to apply those skills in their new roles. That way, they could see the real world impact of what they were learning. The whole process kept employees engaged and motivated, and perhaps most importantly, connected to the purpose of their growth. And what we saw was that by the end of the program, employees didn't just have new skills, but they had this confidence because they had achieved a certification and the results had been really clear. People are thriving now in their new roles.
Thank you for that origin story, Katie. I'm amazed at how we helped Google create career development roadmaps for such a large, diverse group as the folks at Google. Annie, you were a big part of this project. Can you share more about how you approached the skills mapping for all of these roles?
Yeah, great question. It was definitely a big undertaking. I would say that the key, I think, to skills mapping, especially in this project, it really was all about collaboration. So we worked closely with Google's leaders and subject matter experts to get a really deep understanding of the skills that were needed for each role. Everything from the technical competencies to leadership abilities. One insight that might be helpful for others if you're thinking about taking on a big skills mapping project or a certification, it's this idea of starting with the end in mind. That's always, I think, a really big theme for us. So before diving into the actual mapping, we made sure that we had a clear picture of what success looked like in each role. And that allowed us to reverse engineer the skills that are needed, which just made the entire process way more focused and way more strategic. Another tip that
Mm.
you might keep in mind We did not rely just on broad job descriptions. We got really specific. We worked with the SMEs to define the skills, but then also the proficiency levels that were required. And that really helped to create more actionable career roadmaps, making it clear where employees were starting and then where they needed to go. So by the time we get all of those details right, we get to a place where we've been able to make sure that every person's path feels really personal and really targeted.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you for that detail. I'm also seeing a question from one of our attendees today. Jim is wondering, what's the connection between SweetRush and SHRM or the other organizations? I think that's a good one to answer.
Yeah, I can jump in on that one too. Great question, Jim. So SweetRush is a learning agency, and so we partner with clients across all different kinds of industries to provide thought partnership and learning strategy, deep expertise in things, and then all the way into creating solutions for them. So the full design and development process of all of these certifications. Most of the stories that you'll hear today, we partnered from the very beginning when we were just ideating about what's possible, all the way through to the actual launch of the program. But you'll hear about, in one of these case studies, we partnered in a slightly different way too with Intel. So that one's coming as well.